I'm Cylas.
Hey, and I'm Jennifer Smith, and welcome to the premiere of Ladylike. We are presented by Texarkana Gameday. Some of you may know all about our show if you've seen our posts and leading up to it, but those of you that may just now be tuning in, we'll kind of tell you a little bit about it. Ladylike is a concept that we had that would really be geared towards the female athletes in our community, as well as the women in our community, whether it's business owners, people in the medical field, really anybody. Yeah. So we're really excited to bring you our show. And of course, it's live, which makes it a little more nerve-wracking, but it also brings a really fun aspect to it to where we can interact with you guys. If you have questions, feel free to do so in the comment section, and whether it's geared towards us or our guest.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And if you have suggestions for any women or girls you'd like to see on the show, let us know in the comments or send us a message so we can kind of get a running list of people to bring on the show.
Yeah, of course. We want the entire community to have a say in who we bring on and what stories we tell. We also want to give a thank you. Ladylike is presented to you by Texarkana Gameday, and it is possible because of our Texarkana Gameday sponsors that we're able to do this. We also want to give a big thank you to Persnickety too, who ladylike our set with this gorgeous bouquet here. And it was really good timing too, I think, because Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is Sunday. And especially during these times where businesses are really trying to get back up and going after the effects of COVID, it's really important to shop local too, I think. And Persnickety is a local company, and they make beautiful flower arrangements that all of the mothers out there will love, and we hope that you guys can help support them as well.
Yeah, and it's another female-owned business, which is cool. So
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So we have a full show today. We have a really diverse show that we're really excited about. We're going to start off with the Net Junior girls. They just won the Lone Star Classic, which is a huge deal, and so all of those ladies are going to come on our show along with their coaches and tell us all about it. We've also got a good friend of mine. Her name is Kelly Ashbrook Cummings, and her story about her business is just one of those things that just kind of makes you go like girl power. And so I'm really excited to have her on the show.
And then we've also got Dr. Robinson from St. Michael. Really excited to hear from her. Mm-hmm. I got to hear her story at our last Medical Leadership Texarkana meeting, and it was great.
Yeah.
And then last, we've got a really fun segment with Passion for Pooches. Dawn is here, and she's brought some of their adoptable pups, so we'll get to play with them.
Yeah, it's fun. We've got a little something for everybody, and we really hope that you will enjoy it. We also like to kind of briefly mention what's going on in Texarkana. I know, Cylas, you did something pretty cool this weekend with a local business owner. You can tell us about that?
Yeah, Friday night, we went to the Collins home and did a 7-course Italian dinner with Jeff Loving. So that was cool.
Oh, wow. Okay. He does a lot of fun classes, too, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So he's somebody that's pretty fun to check out on Facebook. My husband and I with some friends, we actually went to Cross Ties, and if a lot of people kind of know what they are. They're a newer business in town that's really growing, really doing a lot of great things for downtown Texarkana. And we went to the Clay Walker concert this weekend, which huge name, a lot of fun. They also had, and somebody will have to comment these gentlemen's names because I don't know, but there were 2 guys that opened that are local artists, and they were amazing. I mean, they were great. I'd really like to have someone remind me what their names were because they deserve a shout out for sure.
I know Jake Gathright was one of the guys there. He's always great.
Okay.
He plays with Taryn sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the other would have been.
Okay. Oh, it was great. It was fun. It was a really good way to start the show. And there's a lot of really cool things going on this week too in Texarkana.
Yeah, we've got Teachers Appreciation Week, Nurses Appreciation Week.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot to keep you busy too. Those are 2 groups of people that I think a lot of people don't really show enough appreciation to, especially during these times right now. I mean, teachers and nurses were some of the hardest working people this past year. So any way that you can show them love, I know would be greatly appreciated. Cylas is actually a nurse too.
Yes,
so,
I am.
Yeah, we'll have to show her some love this week. So, do you have anything else before we get the show started?
Just Mother's Day Sunday.
Yeah.
Get your presents for your mom.
Yes, if you need somewhere to go, Persnickety is always a great, anybody local really. Texarkana really has a big variety of local businesses, and so you can't go wrong there. But so what we'll do is we'll take a little commercial break, and then we'll bring the Net Junior girls on set. So stay tuned.
We are excited to announce here at Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital that we have expanded our capabilities to better serve our community. As a hospital, we have the capability for inpatient services. After your outstanding emergency care, we can smoothly transition you into one of our new inpatient rooms that have telemetry monitors in every room to continue your concierge medicine care. While our patients continue receiving their care in their inpatient suites, we also make sure that your loved ones are taken care of with our outstanding facilities. Our added services include a procedure room and also the capability of MRIs. With our imaging, we are able to offer outpatient, inpatient, and emergency room, MRI, CT, ultrasound, and X-ray. We are honored by your support and look forward to serving all your future medical needs.
Hey, we are back, and we are with the Net Junior 15s. And they came in here guns blazing, too. I mean, they have so much energy. I feel like they pumped both Silas and I up, and they have a really good crowd behind them, too. They brought their cheerleaders tonight. So, but these girls are rock stars. They play for Net Juniors 15 is a club volleyball team, right? Yes. And they just recently won the Lone Star Classic, which is a big deal. Do one of you guys want to tell us about that?
I went to Lone Star about 4 years ago, and I was probably 11 years old, and I've always loved the game of volleyball ever since since 3rd grade, and being able to look back on when we were little, going to Lone Star, and then comparing how we are now and winning, it's just crazy to me to be able to win that.
Okay, and let me introduce everybody real quick, too. I'm sorry. So we have Kieran Carpenter and Angie Hopkins, who are the coach and assistant coach, as well as the club director, yes. So, and we'll go, each of you, if you will, just tell us your name and where you go to school.
I'm Casey Graves, and I go to Redwater.
I'm Cy Hopkins, and I go to Texas High.
I'm Mallie Lumpkin, I go to Texas High.
I'm Madison Carpenter, and I go to Pleasant Grove.
I'm Faye Addison, and I go to Pleasant Grove.
I'm Whitney Thornton, I go to Pleasant Grove.
I'm Abigail Bemke, and I go to Pleasant Grove. I'm Lauren Stewart, and I go to Pleasant Grove.
So this was really cool to me because all of these girls, they all go to different schools. And I'm sure, did most of you play volleyball at your school as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So how is that like balancing the club volleyball team and then your school's team? I mean, how does that work out?
Okay, so it's honestly a big difference between club and school. So, like, I'm still in off-season volleyball at school, so during the mornings I practice every day for morning practices, and then we have practice on Sunday and on Wednesday for club. So, honestly, just, like, the whole play is completely different, just, like, attitudes and everything else. I prefer club, but, I mean, I like that. What did you say?
That's funny. Now, at the Lone Star Classic, how many teams were there, and where were the other teams from?
We played one team, I think, from Minnesota.
Jackson, Mississippi.
So it's not just teams in the state of Texas, it's national teams. New Orleans, okay.
We're in our pools.
Arizona, there were some teams from Arizona, Delta region.
Oh, wow.
The team that played in the championship was from Mississippi.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Mississippi.
Okay. That's very cool. Okay. Now, how long have you been teammates together? I know that every year, you try out and you may have different girls on the team, but about how long have y'all played as a group?
We've played since 3rd grade, us 3. And then
Me
and her and Abigail have played since like 5th grade probably.
Yeah.
Since 5th
And
grade.
then Lauren, Casey, and Faye just started this year.
Oh, well, I started playing.
Last year, but not
She was with our older
not on
team
this
last
team.
year.
And
I
we're
started
missing
playing
one
with
player,
Yeah, we're missing
Haley
Haley.
Allen. who
Haley,
is
okay.
Probably practicing for playoffs at softball for PG.
Okay.
Right now.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Shout out to her. She was with, I think, Whitney, your year that you
Yeah.
came, right? Yeah. So she's been here for a while too. 5th grade.
Okay. Oh, wow. So tell me kind of about the process of becoming on, because I know that you guys have tryouts every year, right? So what is the process like? When do you try out for the team?
We try out in around November, December, and we all just kind of create a bond as we go in the year and practice really hard, mostly every Sunday and Wednesday for 2 hours, and we put our heart into practice, and we just like designate our weekends to volleyball and put our heart into it.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely hard workers. I think you guys have a really good work ethic, and I think that's something to really be proud of. So, Angie had said something that was kind of interesting to me. She said that Cy and Madison are both you and Karen's daughters, right? You'll both claim them.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've kind of talked. I mean, I'm kind of looking to see if anybody has any questions or anything. I know, Cy, did you have anything that you wanted to ask or talk
How
to
is
them about?
that playing for your moms?
Yeah.
It's hard. Definitely a challenge.
It's a love-hate.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's definitely
She just said they have a play called Your Mom. Is that maybe the play that won the Lone Star Classic for you?
Yes. We can go with that.
Definitely got some points.
It's kind of hard having that play because we like to make that joke in practice a lot.
we
So
say your mom a lot.
every time we say that, we can't really say that anymore. Because we're like, what play are you running? We'll say, oh, your mom. But, oh, we can't say that anymore because it's actually playing. So.
That's kind of funny. That just kind of shows your personality and how much fun you girls have. Because, I mean, you obviously work very hard and you're very successful in what you do, but it seems like you guys have a lot of fun doing it.
Mostly like in practice, we have fun, and sometimes we have too much fun. But and then Karen is just like,
Sometimes I have to walk away.
She's the one that's like, I'm done. Deal with your mom. But the traveling, I mean, this must be a big time commitment, not just for you, but for your family. Can you kind of tell me about what does the season look like? I mean, how long do you usually travel? How far do you go?
The longest we've traveled is probably Houston this year, which was to Lone Star.
Okay.
Which is only like 2.5 hours. So.
No,
To Dallas.
I was like, if you're getting to Houston in 2.5 hours, I don't know if I want to ride with you. That does not sound right.
It's like 2 hours.
Someone just said that they have a mean coach. I think they're just,
Depends on
it's
the
somebody
day.
y'all know, though.
They go to PG.
Their phone right now.
Bridget. I think she's.
Bridget.
Okay, so shout out Bridget then. It worked. So, now, did you have anything else that you want to add? I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with y'all. I feel like we just need to let you guys run the rest of the show for us. So,
I was curious what y'all's practice looks like. Like, what type practice do y'all do for volleyball?
Well, we normally go in and do like drills to just get us like going. So we'll start off running 2 laps no matter what, and then stretching, and then we'll normally do like some faster drills.
Okay.
And then we'll practice like serve, receive, or hitting, or like whatever we did bad on that tournament. So there was like a weaker spot, then we'll work on that and practice and just. Or like work on our plays, like your mom or any
now, do any of you have anything that you really want to put out there, let everybody know about, or is there anything that you want to say before we let you guys go tonight?
shout out to our coaches for giving the time that they give and like all the heart that they give to us and care for us.
Yeah, you guys have some great coaches. It seems like they not only are great coaches, but they seem like they're a lot of fun. You guys are a lot of fun to be around.
I'll say a shout out to our parents because our parents are the best. They are the best. They even have learned to take a picture of themselves in front of the blue screen because of how much they contributed, and they do. Every
and they
weekend,
wanted to know what to wear tonight to get behind the
and
camera.
they were wondering if they could wear their jerseys. They were willing to do whatever. So they're amazing.
Okay, good. And now, yes, go for it. Say something.
Me too. I'm not one of the originals. Like I was kind of a fill-in for Saturday on Houston.
And we love you.
Yes. But I do want to say that this team is a great team to play with. They definitely know how to like lighten the mood and stuff and all that. They just know how to play volleyball, and it's definitely something that I like. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have something?
Yes. I would just like to thank my mom and Angie because they've dealt with me for however long I've played this.
7 years.
Yeah. And there's a lot of there's a lot of up and downs, but it's worth it now. So we won.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, good. Now, if there is a young girl watching and she loves volleyball, she wants to play, she wants to become a part of the Net Junior 15s, when are audition or tryouts usually?
September, October. Okay. And we have a Facebook page. It's Net Juniors, NET. Net Juniors, Northeast Texas, whatever it falls under there. I think it's
Net Juniors, Northeast Texas on Facebook. Okay.
All that will be detailed as we get closer. The dates, there's usually 1 or 2 tryout dates, ranging from 11 or 12-year-olds up to 17s to 18s, something like that. So there'll be dates on there.
Yeah. Well, we've had a lot of fun with you ladies on the show, and this is not it for them. They will actually be on our live show on Wednesday at Walk-Ons. So you can get some more of the Net Junior 15 girls, and but thanks for coming. We're really glad to have you.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll go to another commercial, and then when we come back, we're going to have Kelly Ashbrook Cummings on the set. So.
Thank you.
Right now at all Greg Orr Auto Collection locations in Texarkana. Shop from your phone, online, or in person, and make no payments up to a source service. We will even pick up and deliver your vehicle. Right.
Hey, so we are back, and we have Kelly Ashbrook Cummings, who is a State Farm agent. She is, Morgan actually calls her, the biggest smile in Texarkana. That's his nickname for her. But she is an agent, not just here in Texarkana, but also in Atlanta, Texas.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're happy to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here. This is pretty cool. Ladylike. I like it a lot.
Got a new little flair to our game day, so we're having fun with it. Kelly is actually one of the first people that I met. Morgan and I both met when we moved to Texarkana. We moved here in 2012. Her husband Kyle inspected the home that we were buying, which then turned into us getting insurance from her, which turned into me working for Kelly, and it also turned into just a really good friendship. Our daughters are actually really good friends. They've been friends for 9 years now.
Wow.
Or 10,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So as soon as y'all moved here, they're the same age, and they just fell. I mean, they fell in love with each other immediately. you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a sweet-
good people, some of the best people we could have met when we moved to Texarkana. But one of the things that's always really stuck out with me is your story of how you became a State Farm agent. So I'll let you tell us about that.
Okay, she said that she liked my story, and I was like, I don't even remember what the story is.
There's lots of them. We like them all.
I talk a lot. So my grandma, when I was a little girl, worked for a State Farm agent in my hometown of Prescott, Arkansas. And the agent that she worked for was actually my cousin, or my cousin's wife. And she was always just such a dynamic, fun, awesome individual, And I, of course, love my grandma.
Yeah.
So I knew at a very early age that that's what I wanted to be, And my grandma always taught me not to depend on anyone, that to be able to be self-sufficient and self-supporting. And my parents were always in sales or own their own business, and so I wanted to do both. So State Farm was kind of the perfect, situation, because you have the national advertising, but yet you own your own business. And so you get to be local and you get to run it the way you like, but yet you have the national company behind you to back you up,
Yeah.
So when I was in college, they had us do a PowerPoint asking us, what's your future? What do you want to be? And I was like, well, I know I want to be a State Farm agent. And so part of the research was, how do you do it? What are the steps? All these things. So I called my cousin, who then had gone into management. And I was like, hey, so I'm doing this, PowerPoint, freshman year. And what do I need to do to become a State Farm agent? Well, at the time, you had to be an employee of the company for 3 years before you could even apply to become an agent, or apply to be in the pool to apply to become an agent. And I thought, well, this is my freshman year, and if I have to work for them for 3 years, then I probably need to go ahead and get going.
Just 19 years old, you're already.
19, yeah. And so anyway, I ended up applying after I turned 20, I guess, to be a claims adjuster for State Farm. I called them and I was like, I need to work for y'all somehow. Like, I'll be a janitor.
Just give me a job.
I need
to work for State Farm.
And they're like, well, we're hiring in Dallas and we're hiring claims adjusters. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's not too far.
Faxed in my resume, and I called and I was like, yes, I was calling to see if you had a resume, and they're like, oh yeah, we've got 6 of those. And I was like, oh, well, let me tell you the one that's most important. So anyway, they hired me as a claims adjuster in Dallas, and got a tiny little promotion, and they relocated me to Texarkana. So I'm from Prescott, Arkansas originally, and I wanted to stay in Texas but be as close to home as possible. So anyway, fast forward a little bit, by the time I was 23, I applied and they accepted me. And so then I had a birthday, and during training, and then took over at age 24. And love it.
That's so cool to me, because most 23, 24-year-olds are still in college. They're still, they're still figuring out what they want to do. And here comes Kelly at such a young age to become a State Farm agent, to be a female and to be that young. I just always thought that was really cool. And I worked with Kelly for a little bit when I first moved here, and I've always looked up to her. She is somebody who I just, really respect.
Well, thank you.
And
That's sweet.
So that's why I thought, well, you need to come on. You need to tell your story. And, she's been a State Farm agent for so long. I think you have such a name here in Texarkana. Everybody knows who you are. And the fact that you have 2 agencies now is pretty cool. I don't know if that's a very common thing. You'd have to correct me if I'm wrong, but you can maybe tell us a little bit about having 2 agencies.
Yes, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. So in 2017, the Roger Rice, who had been an agent in Atlanta for almost 50 years.
Oh, yeah, forever.
Yeah, forever, who was amazing. He passed away. And his sons didn't ever get in the pool to become agents. And so then the company had to put it out to whoever was in the approved pool. Well, at that time, they said, we've decided to open this up to MOA approved agents. MOA approved agents means multi-office agents. So agents that can have multiple offices. And would you be interested? And I said, definitely.
Now, are there only certain agents that even qualify
for
the multiple agencies?
That's right. And what I loved about Atlanta is it's small town like Prescott, you know. I mean, their colors are maroon and white, you know, just like Prescott. And
which the curly wolves are maroon, right?
That's
okay, yeah,
right.
she's a curly wolf, right?
A curly
I'm
wolf.
not from this area, so
Yeah.
if I ever get it
So
wrong.
Prescott has like a legacy of awesome football, and Atlanta does too. And they're the Rabbits, you know. So they're both kind of quirky little, you know, but to be reckoned with, you know.
Yeah.
So I opened that in January of 2018. And so, yeah, you said you've been doing it for a long time. That's because I started when I was 2. I said 20, but I meant 2.
She's fibbing a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah, because when you do the math, you're like, oh, I know how old you are now. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
And I think you and your husband, Kyle, you know, he does real estate inspections. He owns Cummings.
Property inspections.
Yeah, property inspections. So I think that you guys also are a pretty good team because, you know, tell us a little bit about, well, of course we want to know personal life and about your family and your sweet kiddos that I love just as much. And,
Okay.
You know, tell us about that.
So I kind of stammered a little bit when I called and said there were 6 resumes for Kelly. Well, that's because I had been married before to Brian Wilson. So I was Kelly Wilson. That's why there were 6 of those resumes. So anyway, I had to say, well, I'm Kelly, you know, Marie Wilson. Well, anyway, I ended up going through a divorce, and I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. It was very sad, but we didn't have children together, and we were married for 5 years. And so I switched from Wilson to Ashbrook because Ashbrook is my maiden name, and back then the phone book mattered. So I wanted to be
That's
first
true.
in the
You want to
phone
be
book.
A. People watching now are probably like, you know, these younger kids are like, what's a phone book?
Yeah.
What's a fax machine? She's talking about faxing stuff.
Old days. And so anyway, we went to Ashbrook. Well, then 2 years later, my husband and I start dating, and we had grown up together. We were never romantically involved growing up, but we dated and I mean, very quickly knew that he was my soulmate. He was who God had for me. And so then I get married, and I'm like, okay, I can't go from Kelly Wilson to Kelly Ashbrook to Kelly Cummings within a 2-year period. Texarkana's going to be like, no. No. So I stayed Ashbrook at the office until I opened my second one. And when I opened my second one, goodness, I guess, what is that, 12 years later, then I hyphenated and said Kelly Ashbrook Cummings. Yeah.
I always get, anytime I've ever spoken about your kids or whatnot, you know, you've got your 3 children, Ashbrook, Alexandra, and Anthony. And anytime I said Ashbrook, people would look at me and be like, her kid's name is Ashbrook. And I'm like, no.
Right, yeah.
People would get so, but it's such a sweet name. They're such sweet kids. So.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, you're so successful, but yet you still have this really big foundation with your family. And, you know, they're so close. You know, like I said, Kelly, I've gotten really close with her family, especially with our daughters being really good friends. And so tell us a little bit about balancing that work life and still having such a strong foundation with your kids and your husband.
I've always thought that I, you know, thrived in chaos, that I love change. I
can totally see that.
But now I've accomplished chaos completely, and I don't know if I'm thriving or not.
Oh, no, you may not think it, but I think you're thriving.
But it's fun. Ashbrook is 18 months older than Alex. Alex is 17 months older than Anthony. And so I was either pregnant or nursing for 5 years straight.
Wow.
Except for I would take a month off between children. So there were 2 months out of 5 years that I was not nursing or pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, I would go to State Farm meetings and see people that I don't see that often, and they'd be like, I thought you were pregnant last time I saw you. Or, you still haven't had that baby? That's another one.
Oh my
goodness. But it's fun. And now they do have to step up and do a lot more for themselves, you know.
And I think you've told me before, you know, my kids are all 4 years apart, but yours, yes, it was chaos when they were younger, but now
it's fun.
And they're best friends. I mean, of course they may fight like siblings, but they're best friends, and everybody's just so close, you know. And even there's not many people I see still that are so close with their parents and their grandparents too, like you are.
Yes.
And so the whole Ashbrook and Cummings family is just,
thank you.
I don't know, you guys are just really strong.
Thank you. We were moving. I took off a half a day today to go help Mom and Dad move, and oh my goodness, it was hot. I did shower for you. I was like, I know.
Thank you.
It was hot outside, but yeah, my mom has done an amazing job at at tradition and high expectations of the family being together and doing things together and eating dinner together. And so thank you. Yeah, she's solid. I hope I could be half the mom that she is.
Those seem like such simple things, just eating dinner together, but they really make a big
It does, because it seems like that's when they talk. That's, then you go, you say, how was your day? What was going on? How was it for you? You know, and then make them clean up together, and I think that's good too.
Yeah, right. Get something out of it. Well, Cylas, did you have anything for Kelly?
I don't think so. I've just always admired how down to earth you are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, she was telling me, she said she remembered me when she was serving at Ironwood. And I don't know if I ever told you, when I was in college, I went to Ouachita, and I would drive back to, before I moved to Dallas, I would drive back to Texarkana, and I waited tables at the Rails back then. They're not here anymore, but it was a buffet, so it wasn't as hard as Ironwood, but but I loved it. I was like, if I could make a career out of serving tables, like, it's so fun, because you get to serve people and see people, and I like people. So anyway, that's Did I ever tell you that?
No, you've never told me that. That makes sense why you took such good care of us as waitresses at Ironwood. So
thanks. Well, I liked it. So when I retire, maybe I'll serve again.
Okay, Ironwood, she wants a job when she took, 65's retirement age? Like you want, or maybe before. Well, it's been a lot of fun to have you on the show, and we're really thankful that you chose to come on. Our first show for Ladylike, and it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's been fun. You make it easy.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really have enjoyed it. Thank you.
Kelly, they're full-service insurance agency. If you need a quote, how can they go about getting a quote?
Oh, and by the way, we did open it up to all 4 states. So now we also sell and service Oklahoma and Louisiana, as well as Texas and Arkansas.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
I have a lot of customers that have places at Broken Bow now, or at Caddo on the Louisiana side. And so just to be able to accommodate them, I did that. But then I found that we're getting more, customers anyway. So if you have that need, I would love to help you.
So how can they go about getting a quote from your office?
Call in, click in, walk in, however you want to do it. KellyAshbrook.com. 903-223-8100 is the phone. Email. I'll give you my cell phone. It's 903-244-9033. That's 24/7.
Kyle's probably like, oh gosh, she's giving her cell phone number out now.
But if you need your
agent, that's the type of
is.
agent you get when you have Kelly, though. I mean, she really does take care of everybody, and she's always available. And I think that's hard to find people that really,
I think it's important,
appreciate their customers.
And with the local number, you get 24-hour good neighbor service with State Farm. You can, you get Jake and his khakis. You know what I'm saying? But if you want me, then of course call me anytime as well. So well, thank you all so much.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. So we'll take a quick break, and then I think we have Dr. Robinson on next, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Find good people, matching the right skills for the right jobs. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Okay, so we're back, and we've got Dr. Robinson here. I'll let her tell us about her role with St. Michael and how long she's been here and just a little bit of that.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here on this inaugural episode. I can't wait to now tune in every single time.
Yeah.
I have friends tuning in from like all across the Americas because I was like, I don't know what we're talking about, but tune in so we can have a wide variety of people tuning in. So that's kind of cool.
That's exciting.
So I am not a native Texarkanan. So I have been here about a year and a half. Moved down to Texarkana from Philadelphia, so slightly different culture here, but I absolutely love it here. I currently serve as the Chief Medical Officer and Vice President for Medical Affairs at Christus St. Michael, and I could not have been more blessed with a better position, a better work environment. I think for me, being in a mission-driven organization really inspires me every day. So if you're starting to have a bad day, you can just remember, like, okay, we're here to serve a higher purpose, a higher being, and to serve the people of our region. And it's just something that kind of pushes me and motivates me every day. So I'm excited to share my story and be here and welcome folks to hopefully be patients at Christus St. Michael. We can heal you and get you better, but I would not have it any other way.
So tell me a little bit about how you came to Texarkana. What brought you here?
Sure. So the short story is that it was my husband. And, you know, I was completely opposed to it. And I think this is so timely for Ladylike. I think it's so important for women to have our voices and to hear about women in leadership positions. So my husband and I met in med school. It was love at first sight, at least for me, I would say. And yeah, it was really silly. So the first day I met him, we were supposed to be touring the med school and everything. And people were like, what do you think of the med school and all the classes and all this stuff? And I was like, today I met my husband. But it took us a long journey to get exactly. But it took us a journey to get there. And then, you know, I was like, okay, med school is fine, well and dandy, but I wanted to get through it. And my husband was like, well, now I want to research this topic, and now I want to write a book chapter. And he was in med school for a long time, learning and researching and publishing, which is great for him. And then he went to residency and did the same thing. I was like, can you please just finish all the training so we can be real doctors and get jobs and do this whole thing? And so he finally did, which is great. He is an orthopedic surgeon here in town. Awesome. And did his fellowship training in Dallas. And so he was in Dallas and I was in Philadelphia, and I was like, okay, we're going to have to be in the same city. He's like, okay, well, I've heard of this place called Texarkana. And I was like, no, there's Texas and there's Arkansas. There's no Texarkana. Please figure out what. He was like, no. I was like, well, what state is it in? He was like, well, I think it's in both. I was like, that's not how this works. So then I Googled it, and I was incorrect. I'm learning to say wrong, but I was incorrect. And so I was like, okay, well, you're not too far in Dallas. Why don't you drive over and see? And so he he's a very literal person. So he drove to Texarkana and drove back. Whereas I would have driven around, seen the town. He was like, okay, I drove there. There's no mall there or anything. And I was like, yes, there is. There's a Central Mall right there. There's a Dillard's there. I know there's a mall. I'm looking at it on the map. And he had already left. So I was like, okay, I don't know about this. And then he talked to the recruiter, and he talked to the folks at Cummings, and they were like, well, we want to fly your wife down here with you when we do your interview so we can see how she feels about the area. And I was like, who's recruiting a wife? Why are they worried about me? And why are they like, I'm not just some piece of arm candy. Like, I have my own rights and my own job and my own thing, and they should be recruiting me separately. And I don't know about this. But I was like, well, it's snowy and cold in Philadelphia, and it's probably sunny in Texas, so I'll come on this trip. But I don't know about this place. And literally from the second we got here, I mean, people were so nice. And it's not like where you could like just have everybody at the airport be nice and everybody at the hotel and everybody you met in town be just so nice and trying to help and find out more about you. We went to our first recruitment dinner, and usually people just sit down and like talk to the doctor, and then they kind of try to make small talk with the wives, like, oh, what do you like to do? But they had really tried to figure out, like, what are you interested in? Like, if you came to Texarkana, what would you do? If you worked, what would you want to do? If you didn't work, would you be at home? Do you have a family? And they really were invested in finding out about me. And so I was like, wow, that's kind of nice. I'd love to like hear how I could live in this community. Mm-hmm. But then this was our first stop. So I was like, well, maybe this is how it's going to be everywhere. And then nowhere else did anything at all. Wow. So I was like, okay, every single time he got other interview requests, I was like, well, I like Texarkana the best.
Nobody else lived up to the expectation.
I mean, nothing, or even tried. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, no matter what you do as an individual, like, you bring something to the table. You're contributing to a community. You know, whether you're working outside the home, raising amazing kids, doing community service, wherever you move to, you are contributing and are part of that community fabric. And people who are really serious about recruiting people to Texarkana are going to realize that you've got to recruit the whole family.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that made a huge difference for me. And I wanted to go to Washington, D.C. That's my favorite city. I wanted to move there. I was like, that's where we're going, and that's it. And then I just was like, not at all interested in moving there, which was a huge 90-degree difference for me, because I was just like, I could not, 180. Not math, but yeah, it was a 180-degree difference, just because this is so different than being in the Northeast. And I was just so glad to be here.
And at the time, you were working in healthcare law, is that right?
So I was working in health policy. So I trained. We met at Duke for med school. I did my residency at UNC Chapel Hill, and right when I was coming through residency, the Affordable Care Act was being passed, and I kept asking people questions like, "Well, what's the Affordable Care Act?" And people were just like, "Oh, it's just so that people can get their medications." And I was like, I mean, that sounds good enough, but why is everybody fighting about it all the time? And then I realized I knew nothing at all about the Affordable Care Act, and I wanted to study it more so I could actually talk about it. And so I studied health policy at Penn and Philly, and then took a job as the Deputy Secretary of Health for the whole state of Pennsylvania, which I would say, you've got to tell your own story and own it. I first interviewed for a job with the city of Philadelphia, and they were like, well, you don't really have experience. We're looking for someone with more experience to work with the city. And then the state was like, we have a bigger job for you. We'd rather you just run public health for the state. And actually, my former boss from Pennsylvania is now the Assistant Secretary of Health for the whole country, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, working in health policy really helped me understand, like, it's important to have healthcare professionals in your community, but we also have to have people who are involved at our state level to advocate for our communities. So you don't have people who don't do anything with patients or don't care for patients or don't work in smaller communities, really advocating to make sure that health policy makes sense for the people we serve.
Okay. And you can probably tell us a lot of the reasons behind policies in healthcare that are just frustrating to a lot of nurses like me or other physicians who don't really know the reason behind it. It's just another step we're having to take.
Well, it's so frustrating, I think, as a provider, because you're just like, I don't know why I have to do this thing, but I have to do this thing. And then as a patient, you get like this thing in the mail with writing that's this big, and you're like, can someone explain this to me? And you call and nobody answers, or you get transferred to a voicemail, and there's just so much uncertainty in healthcare that makes it kind of scary without already having a health condition. And so I think trying to make healthcare explainable to our patient population, explainable to our providers, makes it accessible. And I think that's the first part of it, is like just being able to talk about it plainly.
Yeah.
So I think that's, the goal of Ladylike too, just like talk about our stories plainly, and bring it to the forefront and talk about just the amazing things that women are doing at Texarkana. It's an awesome place to be.
So tell me a little bit about your role at St. Michael now that you're here in Texarkana.
Sure. So when I came down here, my primary role is going to be about hospital quality and safety, doing some physician recruitment too to bring some awesome doctors to our community. And I had all these plans to look into all the quality and safety efforts. And then about 4 months in, there's this little disease called COVID-19 that when I look back at my text messages, I told my friends, I was like, oh, it's just a flu. Don't worry about it. It'll be over in 2 weeks. And so yet another occasion where the doctor was not correct. But it's just amazing to look back and see. And so it was really helpful for me to have that public health background, because I had done a lot of public health training and disaster management, how you work at incident command kind of at the state level. And so working at a hospital level with such an awesome team was, I think that we did it better, I would say, than anywhere else. I would see all these crazy stories on the news about how things were happening in New York or LA or all these huge cities that you think have like all these resources and all these people and more doctors and nurses than probably the people in our town.
Yeah.
And they had such a hard time, whereas we were really just like down to earth to say, okay, how is this impacting our community? What do we need to do to keep our patients safe, let them heal? How do we keep our providers safe? I think we did an amazing job. I keep trying to almost say that it's over, and then these little corners of the country and corners of the world keep trying to pop up. Yeah. But I think that we have done an amazing job in our community. And I would say, at the hospital, we still are requiring universal masking. I think there's been a lot of talk back and forth about people wearing masks or not wearing masks. And I would say, somebody was going to have to bite the bullet and say, okay, we're going to stop wearing masks this date and see what happens. Because in public health, we just don't have the research to say this is going to be the perfect date to make sure we know for sure 100% that if you stop wearing masks, you'll be fine. And so whether it was the governor or a community, we were going to have to take that jump. And we did take that jump over a month ago. And our rates in the community are still down. We vaccinated over 22,000 people at the hospital. I'm actually about 7.5 months pregnant, and I'm fully vaccinated. And so that's been an interesting journey, and happy to chat about that or come back and chat another time. But I think that we have an amazing community that really came through probably one of the toughest years that any of us will remember in our lifetime. And I was happy to be part of a team that was able to support our community through that.
And we're so happy that you're here.
I love being here.
I think you're doing a lot of great things. So it's been a pleasure talking to you again.
Yeah, well, love to be here. I'd love to support. I can't wait to keep tuning in. This is awesome.
I know. It's been really, it's been a blessing to have you on here. I've heard so many great things about you. Tonight's my actual first time to meet her, and you've just been great. I feel like we could sit here and talk about so many things for so long.
Absolutely.
But I feel like we definitely need you back on here.
This show is like, it's already brand new and it's such an untapped resource. I feel like you guys are going to be like super duper booked, and like this is going to be like the hot spot to get in.
I mean, and I want us to be, very diverse in the stories we tell and the topics that we speak about, and so that's the exciting part of it too, is that we really can have whoever on here and speak about whatever, and so it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. You go ahead. Sorry.
We'll take another commercial break.
Yeah, we'll have Dawn Smith and her passion for Pooches on next.
Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful, handcrafted stone is our passion, and we ensure our customers receive the quality they deserve. We stand by our word. We stand by our products, services, and visit the Design Center at Red River Lumber to see the many beautiful stone options available for your next project.
Pooches. This is Dawn, who runs it, and then tell me your name one more time.
My name is Amy Stanley. I'm a foster mom.
Perfect. And we've got 4 adorable.
Yes, we've got, now, tell me this one's name again. I'm sorry. Buttercup?
This is Buttercup. This is Blinky with her little one eye. This is Hemingway, and this is Tulip.
Good.
They're all rescues.
Buttercup is a big puppy, and I'm gonna put him right here because he's really heavy. He won't go away though. They are so sweet. Okay, so tell us about you first. We want to talk about you, and we want to talk about Passion for Pooches. Tell us about it.
Well, I've been doing rescue for 15 years. I'm a full-time nurse at St. Michael. Been at St. Michael for 32 years. But like I said, I've been rescuing for 15, and this is my passion.
15 years. So what made you want to start Passion for Pooches? I mean, was it one specific incident that happened, or tell us about that?
I've always been an animal lover, and since the time I was little, anything that was hurt, a snake, a bird, a lizard, I'd take it home. We try to nurse it. Then as I got older, it turned into dogs, and I'd get them, hurt, vet them, then I'd give them away. Some of my biggest fights in my marriage have been over, stop the car, there's a dog.
I feel like I can relate to that a little bit. We've fought over getting some puppies before.
Yes.
That's true.
And then I met Candy Hirsch and started fostering for her, and she actually started Passion for Pooches. And then we hooked up. I started fostering for her, and she got out, and I took over, and she liked to do 1 or 2 fosters at a time. I wanted to save more, and so I asked her if I could take over, and she said, have it. And we've rescued about 8,000 dogs.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, 8,000? In how many years would you say?
In the last 10.
In the last 10, okay.
Yeah. We get dogs, well, Blinky came from Houston. She was found with her eyeball ruptured, and she came to us, and we took her right to surgery. Buttercup, her owner could no longer take care of her and was taken to a shelter, and the shelter called us. Buttercup is a little chunky.
Buttercup is very heavy.
She was 18 pounds. She has already lost 2 pounds. We're working on that.
Goodness.
And before we adopt her, we will get a little more weight out of her.
Butterball.
Yes. Hemingway was found as a stray. I showed Silas pictures of him. You could not even tell what he was.
Yeah, his transformation photos were very impressive.
Yes. Unfortunately, he had heartworms, but he has been neutered and treated for his heartworms and is now ready for a home. And Buttercup was found running down Texas Boulevard. Oh, I'm sorry, not Buttercup, Tulip. Was found running down.
Flower.
Yeah.
Different flower.
Different flower. And she was very sick. She had a condition called pyometra, and untreated, she would have passed away. So they're all now healthy, looking for homes. They are great dogs.
Now, tell us what kind, and you told us their names, tell us what kind of dogs they are in case someone's watching and they're interested.
Buttercup is a poodle mix. We're thinking either Yorkie Poo or Chi Poo. Blinky is a full-blood Shih Tzu. Hemingway is a poodle terrier mix. And we believe Tulip is a Chihuahua Yorkie mix. Passion for Pooches was supposed to be a non-shedding breed rescue. But if I have room, I take them. Right now I've got a Rottweiler, I've got a blind pit bull.
The healer I just asked you to take.
Yes, a healer, and beautiful healer something. She is white with beautiful little red spots. Beautiful dog.
Oh, wow.
So large and small dogs always.
Yes.
Then.
Boxers.
Oh, yes. I know you get the boxers.
Silas is a boxer mom.
Yes.
And my boxer's actually a rescue as well. So tell us a little bit. I mean, you talked about their health condition. So tell us, where do those adoption funds go? Because I know people think that they can rescue a dog and it should just be free. But obviously there's a lot of expenses that go into these.
My vet bill is about between $80,000 and $100,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
We do charge adoption fee, and that's where our funding comes from. Just like with everything else, vet fees go up, our adoption fees have to go up. All of these dogs, this one, her vet bills were $600 or $700. His was $600 or $700 because of the heartworm treatment. hers was like 250, and Buttercup, she's on thyroid medicine, and because of her obesity, after her spay, she opened up and had to go back to surgery. Our adoption fees they have gone up to $400, and people say, oh my God, I can go buy a full blood dog. For one sick or injured dog, we have to have at least 5 to 10 healthy dogs to pay that dog's vet bill.
Right.
So when you adopt a healthy dog from us, you're actually helping pay for the dogs like Hemingway, Buttercup, and Blinky here. She had to go back in and stay in the hospital for over a week after her eye surgery because she ran around with it ruptured for so long. Her eye, after surgery, got very infected and bulged out and had to go back in for IV antibiotics for a week. But the healthy dogs help pay for the sick dogs.
Yeah. And I mean, too, a $400 adoption fee, if you think about it, even if you were to go get a healthy puppy elsewhere, you still have to take that dog to the vet. You still have to pay for shots. And so it really isn't a huge unexpected expense. Either way, when you get a dog,
when you get one from Pooches, you're getting a healthy, vetted, spayed dog. You know what type of personality they have. We do guarantee our adoptions. If you get them home, you think it's going to work out, and sometimes it just doesn't. You're not stuck with the dog. I will give you your money back. Because if the dog's happy,
you want everyone to be happy. Yeah.
So if you're happy, the dog's happy. But if you're not happy with the dog, please bring them back to us. We'll give you the adoption fee back, and we want everybody to be happy.
Absolutely, yeah. And one thing that surprised me is you don't just rescue dogs here in Texarkana. Like you said, Blinky came from Houston. So you guys will pretty much, given that you'll travel to get any dog if the need is there.
Yes. And with our new shelter directors, people don't appreciate how, I'm going to have to give kudos to the Texarkana shelter. Down in some of the shelters I pull from, a dog comes in. It's either rescued, reclaimed, or euthanized in 72 hours. Done.
Wow.
Done. If they're full, and you take your full blood boxer, if they're full, they euthanize on intake because they don't have to find the owner for that boxer.
Oh, wow. That's a little scary.
They're not required to wait.
They're not required to wait because it's not the shelter's fault down there. It's just when you have 200 people lined up on Saturday morning to surrender their dogs.
You're talking about like in the Houston area.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But our shelter, with our new directors, they really work with rescues. Hey, I've got this dog. They call me. She's a pit bull beagle mix. I'll pick her up tomorrow. She's deaf, so she's special needs, and we'll go pick her up tomorrow. But they'll call me for the fluffies, because a lot of times you can't tell what they're going to look like. They come in a matted mess, and they can't look past that. And we can see, oh my God, that's going to be the cutest dog ever once we get him cleaned up.
Now, are her before and afters on your Facebook page? You were speaking about how much of a drastic difference it was, right?
It's on Passion for Pooches
Passion for Pooches page.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
So tell us where people could find you, because there's a lot of ways you can help with rescue. If you can't foster, you can donate money to help with the vet expenses. There's adoptable dogs. They need foster homes probably.
Foster homes are always great. The more foster homes we have, the more dogs we can save. People don't realize what all goes into rescue. Cleaning supplies, fence materials, crates, paper towels, Autoban or Simple Green.
Is that stuff that you would take donations of?
Yes.
Okay.
Bedding, collars, leashes, those type of things. Of course, vet bills. And if people are concerned about where the money's going, they can donate directly to my account at Westridge.
Okay, so Westridge Animal Hospital, she has an account. If you want to donate, you can donate there. Just call.
Just call. We always need heartworm medicines, flea medicines. When we have 50 dogs in rescue, you consider $20 a pill, it gets expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Those things that, or grooming. if somebody wants to donate a dog getting groomed, grooming costs, fur cuts with Jenny Parker. She really helps us out, as well as Tavo.
Okay, awesome.
With grooming. I just can't, thank them enough, because they take something that you can't even tell is a dog, then come out with bows and looking as cute as could be.
Yeah. Give them their little Passion for Pooches makeover.
Yes. Yes.
So we can find you on Facebook under Passion for Pooches.
And Passion, www.passionforpooches.org.
Okay.
You can find me on Pet Finder.
Okay.
And several adoption agencies. But if you look up Passion for Pooches, it will bring up all our sites.
Perfect. So just Google Passion for Pooches, and then if you have anything you could donate, whether it be financial or some of the other needs that Dawn mentioned, that's great.
Yeah, anything helps. So these 4 guys are adoptable, right? They're ready to go, right?
They're all ready to go. They're finally healthy. Buttercup will have to continue to take her thyroid medicine, but she's losing weight. She still runs and plays like a puppy. She's 8 years old. Oh, wow. She fetches and she really feels good since she got her thyroid medicine.
They've been in here for the entire show. They came a little earlier. And I mean, you wouldn't even know these dogs were in here. They were so quiet, so sweet. They just sat in their crates. And you can see, I mean, they just want to be loved. And so,
That's all.
Yeah, they're so sweet. So, whether you're able to adopt or not, like Silas said, anything helps. A little bit goes a long way. And do you have anybody that you want to? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I know when my kids were in school, everybody's needing, community service hours.
Oh yeah.
We're a nonprofit. If anybody wants to come and play with the dogs, walk them, a lot of the high school students did that, and it really made them aware of the need of adopting and not buying a dog.
And that goes a long way with the dogs too, because they need to be played with and loved on.
Because I have anywhere between 10 and 30 dogs at my house at any given time.
Okay.
When you have litters, some of the Texas High kids would come out and play with the litters, and they need that. And my place is a safe place for them. They don't get as much attention as they should, but they're not dead. Yeah. And that's how I have to look at it.
They're taken care of, but they just need the little extra fun.
Yes.
And you've got people that can do that. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. So, yeah, if you're needing the hours, I guess they could reach out to you on Facebook or through your...
Facebook.
Okay.
Yes. My phone number is posted on my sites, so they can call me or text me.
Okay.
I don't take my phone to bed with me at night, so don't... I'm not like Miss Ashbrook.
You have to turn it off somewhere, huh?
So, but... like I said, any volunteer time, anybody who loves animals, rescue is the way to go.
And about fostering, I'd just like to say this real quick. People tell me all the time, my 27th foster is at home right now. He's got a home. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. And I couldn't give him up. It would hurt too much. And I do it or they die.
Yeah.
It's either I foster and my heart breaks, so theirs don't, they don't have to again, or they die in the shelter.
Yeah.
And so I get more of a reward from fostering. The good far outweighs the bad. There was a situation with my management change at my house that I rent, and I was terrified they were going to make me stop fostering, and I literally had an anxiety breakdown over it because it helps me. They heal me. Yep. They give me so much more than I could ever give them. And so if you're on the fence about fostering, don't be. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Okay. And you mentioned a few people that help out. Is there anybody else you want to thank, or anybody, or anything that you want to say?
Everybody at Westridge Animal Clinic is great.
They are.
I also work with a sister rescue on Paws, New England, up in Massachusetts.
Oh wow!
They'll take any dog that I cannot adopt here. They're wonderful. They just sent us 40,000 pounds of dog food.
Wow!
And I shared with the shelter and several of the fosters, and we gave that to some people who are in dire straits because of COVID and couldn't feed the animals. So we shared with them. So that was a great benefit. But like I said, everybody that has adopted, my fosters, I couldn't do it without them. It takes all of us. It takes all of us. Fur Cuts is great. Like I said, Tavo is great.
And he's with Paw Paw Patch.
Yes.
I hear good things about him.
We love him.
Yeah. like I said, I just couldn't do it without the whole group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buttercup loves you.
He started wagging,
She's asleep.
or she started wagging her tail, and my husband walked in, and I was like,
He told me you're not allowed, but I said
I'm not. I have to.
She doesn't shed. But,
it kind of looks like Max, our old Jack Russell.
Oh, Jack Russell's.
He's like, no, negative.
But I
can barely pick him up, but she's so cute now. Look at her.
Oh, she's a chunk.
She's like a baby. I'm just rocking her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But my foster parents make this possible. Janet Sproul, she works up all our applications. We do have an application, and we're actually very strict about it.
Yeah, well, you need to be too. You want to make sure they go to.
This is the last time they'll be homeless.
Yes.
But like I said, the people who support us, we couldn't do it without them. My husband. Oh, my husband.
Oh, your husband.
Yes, my husband. That when I first started this, he goes, nope, absolutely not. We're not doing this. You'll have 50 dogs. You'll never get rid of them. I said, okay, the first foster will be here tonight. And
it was already coming. He didn't know it.
But now he's really gotten into it.
Yeah.
And we've really enjoyed the different breeds: Tibetan Terriers, Chinese Crested, Boxers, Pit Bulls. Pit Bulls are wonderful dogs. They get a bad rap. Shih Tzus, I thought they were just little nippy dogs, and I love them.
Yeah.
Like I said, so I've got to experience a lot. I mean, we have rescue snakes and birds and a hedgehog and a couple of lizards, but mostly dogs.
She draws the line at snakes over here.
I draw the line at snakes.
But anyway.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to have you guys on.
Well,
I'm really glad that you got to come on and tell your story. And, like we said, these little guys, they need a home. So if you are interested, go to the Passion for Pooches Facebook page, reach out to Dawn. And hopefully we can find them a home. We'll have to do like a follow-up story on these guys and see where they go. So you'll have to keep us updated. So.
Yes, I believe Blinky has a home up in the Northeast. They asked me if they can have her. I'm like, okay. When they.
Well, good. Well, hopefully she'll be going home soon.
And some of the bigger dogs, the Rottweiler and the Heeler mix, will go to the Northeast.
Okay.
Because there'll be house dogs up there.
Okay.
And that's what we want for them.
Yes.
Well, good.
And Hemingway, he just wants kisses. If you see, there he goes.
He looks like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
He's
just a little sweetie.
Well, like we said, we had a really diverse show tonight, so it's been great. Our first show, we've got our first show of Ladylike in the books, and we're really excited. And like we said, if there's somebody that you want to see on our show, go to our Facebook page, send us a message, and we hope to bring you some more fun stories next Monday. So, do you have anything else, Silas?
No. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next Monday. Bye, guys.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
We are excited to announce here at Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital that we have expanded our capabilities to better serve our community. As a hospital, we have the capability for inpatient services. After your outstanding emergency care, we can smoothly transition you into one of our new inpatient rooms that have telemetry monitors in every room to continue your concierge medicine care. While our patients continue receiving their care in their inpatient suites, we also make sure that your loved ones are taken care of with our outstanding facilities. Our added services include a procedure room, an OP room, MRI, CT, ultrasound, and X-ray. We are honored by your support and look forward to serving all your future medical needs.